Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Sabbath. It's just really a privilege to be with you. I'd like to thank the elders and Pastor Jared, even though Jared's not here, for the opportunity to share God's Word with you this morning. Um, Before we begin, I should just reintroduce myself. My name is Matthew Para, and I'm here today with my wife and my two sons. My oldest son is Max, as Pastor Harker remembered. That was quite impressive that he remembered their names. Max is my oldest son, and Benjamin is my youngest son. And Sharice is pregnant with a third. We don't know if it's a son or if it's a daughter. Sharice hopes it's a daughter, and I hope it's a son. And so you know why, because half of the women would have thought, well, why doesn't he want a girl? It's because I'm a creature of habit. And I'm familiar now with boys, and I'm the kind of guy who goes out to a restaurant, and once he finds something that he likes, that's all I ever order. And so I just want to order from the Lord another son, if that was possible. And Max is a Canadian citizen and a U.S. citizen. My wife is from Canada originally. I'm from the United States. And the reason why he's not an Australian citizen, although he was born in Australia, is because in Australia, if you don't have permanent residency and you have a child here, that child is not an Australian citizen. But if you have permanent residency, if that's the status of the parents, if the parents have status as permanent residents, then the child who's born in Australia also then has citizenship. And so Benjamin, our youngest son, he is a Canadian citizen, he is a U.S. citizen, and he is also an Australian citizen. So he has 3 citizenships, and he's not even 2 years old yet. He's a man of the world, and he's only 2. It's pretty impressive. He can't run for parliament. That's right. That's right. I serve here in Australia as the North New South Wales Conference Evangelism and Personal Ministries Director, and I don't want to tell you all that means, but in essence, it's my job to facilitate ministry and outreach here in the conference amongst the lay people. And we do that through running a discipleship training program called Arise up in Kingscliff. It's a 4-month program. We also do trainings around the conference like Arise Express that happens at Walls End Church each year. We have 3 conference evangelists now in our conference. This is a new creation, not new in the complete sense, but new in the recent sense. Peter Watts, who you may have heard of, he used to be the pastor of the Lakeside Seventh-day Adventist Church. He started his first year as a conference evangelist in 2017, and God blessed him and used him to baptize 20 people into our church this year through 3 public evangelistic meetings throughout our conference. He'll continue to work in 2018, and we've just released Pastor Danny Melenkoff, the pastor from the Blue Hills church plant, previously of Avondale Memorial Church. You may know Danny. And he's going to be working in 2018, and he's already scheduled 2 or 3 evangelistic outreach meetings with local churches. And we also have a young guy named John Boston from the U.S. that we've got working in our schools. He is the youth evangelist for our conference, and so my job involves working with those guys and helping out and doing the Arise program and all kinds of other interesting stuff. But I hear that your church is going to be doing evangelism in 2018, and so you may want to consider giving Danny a call, maybe setting something up with him. You have a whole lot of money for 2018 to do outreach and ministry that the conference is making available, and I think it's upwards of $58,000 or something that the conference is making available to this church for the sake of outreach ministry in 2018. So keep that in your prayers. One last thing before I put you to sleep with announcements. So hang on, we're almost into the Bible. Is that in Big Camp this year, we're going to do something that I just wanted to mention to you real quickly. For those of you guys who know, Big Camp, and who don't know, Big Camp didn't originate in the Seventh-day Adventist Church as something for us. Originally, it was something for the community. It was outreach-oriented. Early Adventists would pitch tents outside of major cities, and then they would congregate out in the bush around those tents, and they would camp. And then they would go into the cities, and they would invite the people from the cities to come out to their camp meetings. And there, at their camp meetings, they would preach the gospel and the three angels' messages. And they were evangelistic in nature. And every year at our big camp, we have roughly 150 visitors, that is, non-baptized guests. And we thought to ourselves, why don't we do something specifically for them? In talking to some of our guests and visitors over the last few years, they've said to us, we love this. This is awesome. These sermons, these preachers, this worship, this is just awesome. This is wonderful. But there's so much of what you guys are saying that we just don't understand. Like, what do you believe? Who are you? What's unique about you? What are your basic beliefs and teachings? And they can get those kind of referenced at camp meeting, but they just don't get clear, straightforward, this is what Adventists believe kind of stuff. And so what we're going to do this year is Danny and Peter, our two conference evangelists, are going to hold some meetings at Big Camp at 9:30 in the morning. You're going to be getting flyers and a promotional video this year. And it's going to be called Adventism 101, the prophetic message. And each year we're going to do this, and we're going to specifically invite all of our visitors at Big Camp to come and to participate. And we've scheduled it at a time when nothing else is happening, at 9:30 to 10:30 each morning. And that's going to be really cool. We've already begun planning exactly what they're going to preach and share. It'll be a great place to bring a friend to. And so if you've got a friend that you've ever thought you wanted to invite to camp meeting, or if you do invite friends to camp meeting, this year is going to be a great chance for them to hear some specific Adventist teachings in an evangelistic way. But it won't be scary. I know sometimes when you have friends, you think to yourself, I want to be careful about what I bring them to because I don't want to jeopardize our relationship. We're going to be very sensitive to that, and we're going to make sure that everyone who brings their friends, their relationship with those friends is not going to be jeopardized. No one's going to be pressured in an inappropriate way, but we're going to just make the Adventist teachings beautiful and awesome and wonderful and just let people know who we are and what we believe. So it'll be a great opportunity. That's all I'll say, and then we'll move on. Thanks again for letting me be here.